Hey guys, we are at the Great Village Antique Exchange to learn about antiquing from Cees and Clair. Come along.
This business attracts characters. It's kind of like a prerequisite. You need to be a character if you're going to deal in
You need to have a good
antiques.
personality.
Oh, some of them are interesting.
I bet. Can you tell me what the difference between an antique exchange and an antique market would be?
Mostly just the name.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It was owned by one of my good friends before I took it over, and it was called Great Village Antiques. He still owned the name for that, so I had to register it, and it became Great Village Antiques Exchange.
Oh.
We do like to exchange antiques for money. Oops.
Sorry.
You break it, you buy it.
I know, I would happily buy Diana. I've noticed that there's a lot of like bone china. Is that is there a reason behind that, or?
No, I'm not a bone china collector by any stretch.
You have a lot of it, a lot.
Well, we represent about 35 different people in here.
Okay.
Right, so different people have an eye for different things.
Yeah.
Some people like books. So we have a book section. Other people are into the glass and china. Myself personally, I like the weird oddball things. There's no particular rhyme or reason to it, just whatever catches my eye.
What makes something antique?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Technically, it's 100 years or older, then it's antique. After that, it becomes, you know, you hear the term mid-century,
yeah.
retro, vintage. So those are kind of the middle ground. It's a very loosely used term. I mean, if you look online, everything is antique, right? But generally, for me, it's 100 years or pre-mass production.
Yeah.
Right? But mass production has now been going on a lot longer than 100 years,
Yeah.
so some people have different definitions for
Of course.
that. But handmade old stuff, that's what I call antique. If you could get it in the Eaton's catalog, I have a harder time calling it antique.
What are you looking for today at the Great Village Antique Exchange?
I look at bottles and books. I'm into collecting books, local history, I guess.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, and there's lots here, lots to look at.
How often do you come to the antique market?
Probably 2 or 3 times a year, I guess.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well-
It always seems to be different stuff here every time. I've been dealing with Claire since quite a while.
Really?
I got into old saws too, and sometimes he puts some away for me.
Oh, that's sweet. When you come in, do you buy things that you don't expect you're gonna get?
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always spend too much money.
I bet. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi.
Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah, hi Danny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Just
what are
finding
you
another
doing?
spot. Well, just restocking with some things that I just recently purchased yesterday. So, looking for a spot for this phone. I realize I still have one here, so this is, of course, if you don't recognize it, the
Yeah.
classic telephone dial-up from back in the mid-century.
Where did you get it? Because you said yesterday you got a bunch of stuff.
This one actually came from one of my pickers. Pickers are people who go out searching for things and they find them for the antique dealers.
Oh.
You know, so this guy, he's a regular. He usually gets me books.
Yeah.
I have a booth here too, just outside. There's a lot of books, and they're mostly either wildlife, forestry, or local history.
Of course.
But I kind of school him on different things that I'm looking for. So he knows I like phones. So,
What got you into antiquing?
well, that's not an uncommon question, and I've answered it many times. And I say, well, some people say, when did you start antiquing? And I think I probably started antiquing when I was about 12.
Really?
And I grew up on a farm. I was always fascinated with all the old artifacts that were around, because the farm had been in my family for, at that time, 5 generations.
Wow.
So there was different generations of things, like
Yeah.
the treadle sewing machines, you know, implements or tools, you know. I'd ask my dad or my grandfather, you know, what was this used for? Because it's been sitting in the corner in the machine shed for like as long as I can remember. So what was it? I kind of started like taken some of these old things and I'd say to my dad, can I fix this up and do something with it? And he'd say, sure, do whatever you want. So I was fixing things up, advertising them, and selling them. And that was like, I just did that, you know, and I kept collecting as I grew older. A teenager, you know, I collected old comic books, collected toys and all sorts of things like that.
How often do the vendors or you come in and restock your products?
I probably restock every day. I don't think every vendor does, but sometimes it's my employee, Valerie. She kind of, the reason this looks neat and tidy is because of her. I just bring the stuff in. She looks after that. But a lot of the vendors, you know, there's some vendors that live, you know, in the city or far away, so they kind of make trips on specific days, maybe once every 2 weeks or whatever, and they'll bring a whole load. Whereas with me, I'm just across the street, so like if I get some things, sometimes like this morning, a lady pulled in and dropped some stuff off. She comes over and she's got her 2 boxes out of her car and she said, we're getting rid of this stuff in the cottage. And so I bought it. I would say almost every day I restock.
So what is your favorite thing to collect?
For me personally, most people would say it would be buildings. I tend to buy old buildings that are in state of disrepair, various states. Some of them are kind of wrecking ball material. I just like old buildings and I like saving them. It's an important, if all the old buildings go, it becomes quite a boring area.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've bought 4 old buildings right here in the middle of Great Village and keep them all alive.
I love that. I feel like you really did such a great job keeping like the authentic integrity of the buildings.
I like the old buildings. I like the character. They're a real pain to work on. Everything is an issue. There's nothing level, nothing straight, nothing plumb. But it's kind of a labor of love.
Can you tell me a bit about your relationship with Claire?
Claire? Yeah, I don't know if we have time for all that.
Just a snippet.
I've known Claire for probably, got to be getting close to 15 years.
Wow.
Or so, yeah. And yeah, Claire's one of the main fixtures around here.
Yeah.
He's been here as long as any other one, I think. He's definitely one of the original few before I owned it. I was a dealer here before I owned it as well. But yeah, no, I've known Claire for years and we kind of got each other's back. If he needs a hand or if I need a hand, the other one's always there. If my staff have a problem or something and I'm away, Claire will hop in and help. And it, yeah,
great relationship.
Yeah, yeah, it works out pretty good.
So excited to finally be in your space here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you.
I know that there's a lot of history surrounding this little part of the village. Can you tell me a bit about it?
25 years ago, we started, 3 of us, across the street at Cees' shop, and decided that we were looking for a place, and we found this. It was a vacant former general store. There was another tenant in it for a while, and he decided to move out. There was 3 of us, and one of the guys said, I don't know, it's off the beaten path. It's way out in the boonies here. You think people are going to come here? And I said, the highway's 3 kilometers up the road, you know.
And Masstown is super busy.
Right. So it just kind of evolved like that. So we said, okay, well, we knew 2 or 3 other people who were interested. So we checked with them. They said, sure, we'll rent space from you. And I said, I think I want to rent space. I don't want to be part of the group because I can't take 2 days a week and work in here. So that's kind of how it evolved for me. By the end of the year, there was about 8 or 10 dealers just downstairs.
Wow.
And then it just grew from there. Like the owners still had personal belongings and things from the store days in the store, stored in different rooms. So we just kept pushing back, and they'd move it from one room to another and say, we'll pay you more rent and we get this room.
And eventually push them out.
Eventually and then of course when Cees took it over about 12 years ago, he really wanted to do the number on it. Like he put all those glass display cases in and moved a lot of people around. I had to move out of the room I was in and got the upstairs. And then there was other rooms up there that weren't, nothing was done with them. There's still had the previous owner's stuff pushed in there. So, and eventually Cees just kept, pushing it back, and eventually they took everything out and he had the whole thing.
That's awesome.
And the rest is history.
This is so freaking cool. I know you have mentioned that you have about 35 vendors. How does somebody become a vendor here?
A lot of people have been customers of ours, and the trouble if you're a collector, you start to accumulate, right? And if you accumulate too much, well, you fill up your house, and then what? So a lot of them just start as collectors. They love the thrill of the hunt. They love going around sourcing this and sourcing that. And then they have a whole bunch of stuff, and what can they do with it? Well, they just can't build on. Well, some of us can, but...
Just buy another build and put it in.
Exactly. So the natural progression for a lot of people is to start selling, right? And if they're going around looking at stuff and they see something for a good deal, they snap it up and put it for sale in another location. That kind of allows them to keep going after what they want, and that's essentially the thrill of the hunt.
Is there an application process?
Right now there's a waiting list.
Oh.
I could fill up a lot more space. We have a lot of people that want floor space,
Really?
and there's just none available yet until I build on. It's kind of tricky to build on because it is a heritage building,
Exactly,
so I've been
yeah.
in that process for a couple years now.
A lot of yeses and a lot of nos.
Yeah. So a small spot I can sometimes stick people in, but for people that want a large space, it's probably a several year waiting list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do they just come in and talk to you and express interest, or is there like an online?
I get lots of it's pretty casual. I get lots of messages or emails or phone calls. Listen, I've been a customer of yours for years, and I'd like to have a little space, and can you tell me the ins and outs of it? And it's just kind of a fun thing to do, right? And for a lot of people, it's social as well, right? It's what they do on the weekends. So they see the same people at the auctions, or they meet them going to yard sales, or they see them at other shops. So many people that are involved in the shop, either as a dealer or as a customer, they know each other.
Not only do you work here full time, you're also a vendor here. Can you tell me a little bit about, were you a vendor first? Did you work here first? How did that happen?
I originally started working here first. I think it was probably about, I want to say 3 months in, I got my own cabinet here.
Oh, that's exciting.
I always collected coins beforehand, about 2 or 3 years beforehand. And I bought a lot of coins here.
Yeah, I bet.
So I figured I had too many coins. I might as well get rid of a couple of them. But since I've gotten through there, I got another cabinet in the back there, one of the open cabinets.
Yeah.
And then I also got a second one in the right next to my own cabinet here in the display case room.
Lots of jewelry I saw.
I just recently got into jewelry about, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago there now, and I've been buying way too much. All kinds of times I'll pick up just something that's not quite as shiny. The other day I was actually at the store over across the road there on my day off. I don't usually get over there as much. And Claire had this beautiful set of sterling silver steak knives. And they were really nice. They were a little bit dirty, but they were marked sterling and everything. I asked him about it. He said those are sterling. And do you know how much the cost was? $30.
Wow.
There was probably about $80 worth of melt
So you
there.
picked those right up? Oh,
It was a pretty good price there. Mind you, they've been sitting on my desk for a while because they are going to need some extensive cleaning.
So this is bits and pieces of something that somebody broke.
That's beautiful. Honestly,
And-
I could see that hanging in my house.
There's a local lady in the village here, her and her husband. She, a few years ago, started making these, and I found that they're popular. They often set up on the lawn next door to my building here. And I said, so I want to have a good variety of these in the shop. as you can see, they're made from, this one's made from different pieces. Sometimes I'll break something that's kind of special and I'll say, I've got something for you, Joyce.
So you're really you're like down to the last crumb,
So,
basically. You're making
So
something beautiful.
usually what happens is this gets thrown in the garbage. But there we are.
What would you say the difference is between a flea market and an antique market or an antique exchange?
There'd be a lot of similarities. There'd be a lot of overlap of items. They both represent a lot of different people. We're just permanent,
Yeah.
right? So they're more permanent displays. In flea markets, people are set up in the same places as well, a lot of the time, but us, it goes for years. So you know that I like the stuff that this person brings in, so that's the first place I go and check out. It's just kind of I don't want to say higher end because that's a little bit snobbish, but I don't think we're snobbish here.
No, not at all. It's so welcoming and so inviting. Everybody's so nice. And even if you don't know what exactly something is, it's nice to just chat about it.
Yeah, and flea markets are fun, but this is a 7 days a week market.
Yeah. What brings you to Great Village?
Every year we like to do a little drive around this neighborhood and check out all of the different old things. So we love to go on a little adventure. I'm here with a group of friends and we came here last year as well. I think closer to Christmas because I remember Christmas music playing and lots of more decor.
That's a fun friend trip to do.
Yeah, it's really fun. We usually find a couple treasures here and there, and it's different every year because everything changes so much.
Of course.
And there's so many different things to look at. I love just crouching down on the floor, seeing what's in all the crevices.
There's so many little things.
Yeah, I feel like I find a lot of things in here, especially where I'm I wish I knew the story of this and who owned this and where it came from and what it's been through, especially older things, and you're what was this used for?
I know.
It's this is a lemon squeezer.
Yeah.
We have invented things that are better than this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, the whole upcycling thing is it's something I really enjoy doing now. It's because it relates to bits and pieces of our past. Come on in, just shut the door.
That's okay.
I want
Yeah.
to speak with Claire.
That's me.
Oh, okay. In the other shop, up in that room, you've got what looks like a wooden sword. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's and you've got it labeled as a butter knife, I think, or a butter.
Somebody put that on there. It's not a butter knife.
It's not. It's a scotching knife.
Yeah, okay.
It's a little out of my price range for that item, but
Were you interested in it?
what's that?
Were you interested in it?
Well, mildly. I'm starting to process flax, and I spin flax, and now I'm.
Well, you should have it then.
Well, I know, but
How much is it?
$75.
What do you want to pay?
Not that.
Okay, shoot it. Fire a number at me.
It would be an insult to you.
You can't insult me.
15.
How about 25?
It's tempting.
You really
20?
should have
Can
it.
we meet in the middle at 20?
Do 20. Take
20
it.
and who?
It's been there forever.
Okay, can I tell the woman?
You can
that-
tell them over there. If they don't believe you, they can call me.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
We'll do that. 'cause
How's that?
I just, even if I never touch flax with it, I wanted to.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for somebody that
Knows what it is?
knows what it is and does that, so.
Well, the Spinners Guild in Halifax, we just
Yeah.
had a big workshop on
Okay.
processing flax.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, $20.
Well, you'll be the most popular person there at the next meeting.
I will, yeah.
There you go.
I bring it for show and tell. Thank
Only
you.
one thing.
Yes.
Tell them where you got it.
Yes, I will.
Okay?
I absolutely will.
Thank you.
Take care.
I notice on a lot of the merchandise it says firm or different words like that.
Yeah.
Is it negotiable?
A store policy, lower price items, there is no discount. Some of the higher price ones, there can be a discount. And it depends on the dealers too. We represent 35 different people, so different people will have different amounts. Some are firm no matter what. Some you can do a little dance with them, and others not. And also times of year, some people will put sales on. And if the dealers are here in person, you can always negotiate person to person, right? We at the cash just have a list of rules basically that the staff has to adhere by. We have a cheat sheet, and some customers, they don't want a phone call from the shop. They want to put their stuff in here, and they don't. The price is the price, and that's it. They don't want us to call. Some people might not like that, but that's just how it works.
Where there's only one cash and 35 vendors, how do you tell whose is whose?
Well, if you look at the tags throughout the store, they all have a code on it.
Okay.
So generally it's initials from the dealer, but sometimes you can't have a BM and an RM because they look too similar.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that they're visibly different enough that we don't make mistakes.
Of course.
Some stuff does go missing, the majority of it, and we end up finding. Because a lot of people don't realize that it is a group shop, so they would take this cup
And then
they'd
bring it
walk
over.
around the
Gotcha.
store, and it would end up in somebody else because they found something that caught their eye a little
Yeah.
bit more. So everybody has a department button on the cash register
Yeah.
that corresponds to that. So we keep a master list, we write down everything that is sold, and then it gets entered in the cash register.
Wow.
And then they get a report at the end of the month.
I always say to people now, there's no junk anymore. You know?
Which is true.
Like, one example is the old sewing machines, the treadle sewing machines. They're everywhere, and they get thrown out. So I decided a few years ago to start taking them when I could get them. We dismantle them. We sell the drawers. We dress them up a bit.
I love it.
People use them for trinkets or recipe cards or whatever, you know. Pretty well everything on it, the handles, the little drawer pulls and stuff like that, people like those. I also have this guy who makes these birdhouses for me, and I source the material for him. He like tin roofs off of old barns, and there's a lot of old barns and buildings being torn down, and all that material usually, once they get in there with the construction equipment, it just gets smashed, goes to the dump. But I'll often stop if I see them doing it and say, do you mind if I pick a few pieces here?
You've mentioned that, you know, you have great characters and vendors. What are the customers like?
Well, without the customers, we'd be nothing. Most of them are friends, right? They're people that we see once a month, or some of them a couple times a week.
Yeah.
We have people that come from the city every single week to look
Wow.
because they can't stand the thought of missing out on something. There's quite a few people like that, really.
That come from Halifax to come over?
Yeah, that come from a good distance.
Yeah.
Every week or a couple times every week.
Wow.
And it's like clockwork, and it's what they do.